Listen, I gotta make sure. I gotta make sure my shirt looks right. Welcome.
Tonight's matchup, Sixers versus Lakers. Here's the tip. Turnover. Net.
I hope you missed me lots. We're gonna take a sus chord. Now, there's a weird name about this. People say sus2, sus4, sus, whatever the hell. I'm gonna give you a secret. A lot of people don't know this, and it might upset some people. A sus2 and a sus4 are the exact same thing. If I played an A sus4, that's a 1, 4, 5. Now, here's the problem. People say that that's a sus4 for sure. But what if my root was a D note? If it's D, E, A, right? Guess what an A sus4 is? A, D, E. So D, E, and A are the same three notes in both chords. So a sus2 is a sus4, which is a sus2. Now, how do you know what to call it? I just use the context of the music. If it's obvious that our bass note and our root of the chord or the chord progression motion is somehow telling me that A is the more important lower note, then I would call it an A sus4, right? If the D was the obvious important note, like if I went with a bass and walk down, that D is pretty substantial to the listener, so that D is going to be the D sus2, we're going to call it. This pick is gigantic. Steve Vai, Greasy Kid Stuff. That Flexible album, I didn't like that much. I thought it was interesting. It sounded a lot like Frank Zappa. I'm going to roll this dice. You got one magnifying glass and a 2. What does that mean? That means that they use the candlestick in the lounge orchid. This is obviously the newer version of the game. There's something about these I like. Get a clue. Whenever there's a suspended chord, there are 12. 12. Look at these on the screen. That's a lot. If you had an A sus4, you're going to go with the D sus2 options for these scales. You also have the harmonic minor on the 1 and on the 5. You got 1, 4, and 5 melodic minor. So if we had an A sus2 chord, then you could play A melodic minor, D melodic minor, and E melodic minor. On the 1 and on the 5, you get the harmonic major. Oh, my glasses! All right, you have 3 different pentatonic minors over a sus chord. That's kind of interesting. So pentatonic scale, you got 3 options there. Your B minor pentatonic contains an A sus2. The 6th contains it. And also the 5th, so the E minor pentatonic contains an A sus2. All right. All these, by the way, also blues. And the E. So they all fit A, they all have an A sus2 in them. Or, if you wanted to call it, instead of an A sus2, that's an E sus4, remember. So a sus4 has a blues right on it. And then the flat 7, and then however you wanted to, if you wanted to reverse figure that out. It's not too hard to figure out, hopefully. If you guys are having trouble figuring that out, let me know in the comments. Maybe I'll do a separate video on that as if it were its own chord. You only have Hungarian minor on the root. That's interesting. It's interesting, if you had a sus2 and you wanted that minor 3rd anyway, there's an option for you. Sus chords, you could never play a whole tone scale with them, and you cannot play a diminished scale option with them. Isn't that interesting? Nobody's stopping you from playing whatever you want, so you do what you think sounds cool. All right, guys, that's all the options there. That's like 22 options. If it's a sus4, all these options are going to be based around the 4 of the chord, and if it's a sus2, all the options are based on the 1. Hopefully that helps. Again, if you're confused on that, let me know in the comments. Maybe we'll do a second lesson just on that on its own to help you guys out. If you're extra confused, don't feel bad. Everybody didn't know everything at one point. That sounds weird. There's always a point where you didn't know all the things you know. I didn't know everything. I still don't know everything.
End of recap. More to come.
I was playing some more video games. One video game that I made as a kid where you were a band. I'm gonna post a little bit of that for you to check out. I play a little bit of that Elder Scrolls Online, and I have to mute everybody's microphone because there's apparently insane people nuts. They kept yelling chocolate as loud as they could. Like they were clipping the mic real bad, and I kind of wanted to murder them a little bit. What happens on Xbox? You did this, didn't you?
No.
Do you know some code to make this happen?
No.
The player looks upset that he sucks. Maybe he needs to stop sucking.
What the heck?
Yeah, there's
What the hell is that?
There's something wrong with the Xbox.
What is that, Alan? What's scrolling like that?
It sounds like Jabba the Hutt. I like basketball video games a lot. I used to play the basketball video games a lot, and I used to make my own characters. Years ago on the Amiga, there was a game called TV Sports Basketball. First basketball game, I think you could perform an alley-oop, and it was extremely rare to have this happen in the game. And me and my friend went crazy whenever it happened. We would scream. Lakers versus Celtics, I think, or Bulls, or I forget. Jordan versus Bird was one of the old ones. I remember some of those really old ones, but NBA Live on the Nintendo was huge. I used to love that game. I loved it so much with the customizations you can make. Double Dribble was actually a fun game. That reminded me a little bit of Tecmo Bowl. I used to play that a lot. Even though the graphics sucked, they had those cut scenes when they would slam dunk, and that was kind of fun, even though it was the same thing over and over. Now I play NBA 2K. I did have a little bit of a problem with the Spike Lee 2016 one. If I make a character that's, let's say, because of what Spike Lee did to the game, not a smart idea, Spike Lee. No matter what my character should sound like, or whatever he should look like, for instance, he's a very pale Russian character with a weird head. I think it's funny looking, but I got this guy as my character, and he has a twin sister who's apparently black, and it doesn't make any sense, and his voice does not sound like a Russian. So I don't know what kind of weird thing they were doing with that game, but they kind of ruined it. If you're going to have a twin sister on a game, at least procedurally generate the twin sister to look like the guy you make. Should have done, and what it felt like was Reggie Miller and his sister. He destroyed the Knicks the one game. He kept shooting threes and stealing the ball and shooting threes over and over and won the game at the end. It was like magic. I don't know how the hell he did that. It was one of the most amazing things I've ever witnessed in a basketball game. But I think what you should do is take a step back and say, you know what? Maybe this Allen guy isn't crazy. Maybe he knows what he's talking. Maybe he's not. Who knows? Maybe I am nuts. But I know how to do all these cool things on the guitar. It's like if you're a wizard on a video game, and then your guy has like some Long Island accent from a modern time, it doesn't fit. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't work right. The cool thing about sus chords is that they're kind of vague, so they don't tell major or minor. So they give you a lot of options for whatever you're playing. So knowing some of the options that you have could really open up your playing to some cool things you might not have noticed that you could do. So that's not only fun but you're going to learn something. So even if you think, oh my God, this music theory stuff is so stupid and boring, I don't need music theory, it's going to ruin my feel, you're wrong. You don't know what you're saying, and that's okay, because everybody doesn't know everything, and that's fine. Maybe this crazy guy has some good ideas. So give me a subscribe over there. Press the subscribe button. Go to my website. Go to ultimatepicking.com. And what happens there is some cool stuff. Because I made one of the most awesome programs ever. Not being egotistical, I'm just happy about it because it works to help people get their picking faster, quicker than you can with anything else. It's really cool. All right, check it out, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Keep watching. What does that mean?